the journey.
Here I am. I couldn't get on. But I found you finally. Hi.
So, our journey starts why one talk and, why a single talk and the practice does not help us to realize the real self. Have you ever thought of it? I call you Sophie, you hear me. I call you John, you hear me. You listen to me. I call you Terry, you hear me. Why Bill Gates is so genius? Still complete the sentence with a disclaimer. Do you want to know your real self? Say yes. So, who wants to know the real self? I. So, that I behind the mind, behind the body, behind the ego is the real self. Where is the problem? That is the problem. When I say where is the problem, that is the problem. Did you understand? Even if you did not, so it's okay. That is the main problem. And that is the ignorance. One example, I want to know this. This is in front of my mind. So I can easily find out this is mouse. But that real self is behind the mind. That is why it takes time. Did you get it? So you can know the John. John is in front of you. But if someone is behind you, that is the journey. That is why we have to have a qualification. We have to be a seeker. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You may like the talk, you may like the practice, but so 2 weeks ago, we understood that this truth cannot be falsified. Did you get a chance to go through it? Did you get a chance to listen? I'm busy, very busy. Yes. And why you are busy, that is the problem. You are busy today, you'll be busy tomorrow. It never comes to an end. Yeah. That's why I love John. He always says yes to all I say. When I'm busy today, I'll be busy tomorrow, the next day, and one day I will go there from where there is no return. And why I am busy? In order to be in peace and happiness. And the mind does not want to understand that real self is within me, that is of the nature of peace and happiness. That for that I don't have time. Why you're angry? No, I'm not angry. Why should I be angry? Do whatever you want to do. So in the lesson that we understood that truth cannot be falsified, cannot be destroyed, is independent. That is what is the existence. And that existence is the subjective reality that we want to discover in this journey. That real self is the pure consciousness. It is known as existence, consciousness, and bliss. In the last week's session, perhaps we discussed about life is a series of experiences. Do you recall? And those experiences creates a false I based on our experiences. Why it is a false I? One day after a few weeks and months, when we start talking, communicating, using the words, infant, maybe 1 or 2 years old, we are sitting on a chair, dining chair with the dad or mom. Mom says, eat, take your food. And then I saw the dad and the mom, he's taking a bite, putting into the mind. Oh, this is the meaning of I am eating. I don't know what is I, but I'm still eating. I'm angry, I'm upset. So that false I is created in me by the parents, by the culture, by the society, and I continue to live with the false I that is the cause of all the suffering. And we also discussed that this false I, because it is based on the outer experiences, and the outer experiences gives us lot of pleasure and pain. So I want to avoid pain and I want to continue the pleasure by possession, by pleasure, and that makes me utterly selfish. Utterly selfish simply means that I want to grab everything more and more so that my pleasure becomes permanent happiness, but that never happens in life. Pleasure of any kind. Let us go to that restaurant and eat. So I had a memory. That is the false I. We always use 99.9999% this false I in living our life based on the series of experiences that we have. I have only $100 in my bank account, so I want $1 million so that I can gather more pleasures. That is the only reason. And even paying for the session becomes very heavy. Oh, it is so high. And you are eating candies in the desert for the last 20 years, enjoying that pleasure that lends you up in diabetes. You never think of it. You never question. Tell me if you question. You have 50 pairs of clothes in your closet. You want the 51st. You never question. I believe Sophie has it. Sophie smiled. That was our second talk. So today's lesson, understand this clearly, that because of false I, we create a struggle inside and a battleground outside. In our relations with our object, we are not at all clear where to spend the time and effort. We don't have a clear direction. That is why I'm busy. No, no, why you say that I'm busy? I'm busy, doing a great business. Yes, whether you're doing a business or you are busy in anything, busyness has to do with the false I. Busyness means that I am not satisfied with what I am doing, what I have done yesterday, what I have done today in the morning. And that is based on the series of the experiences I have. And the series of experiences cannot declare who am I, but I take it for granted. So that is why we are suffering. When I say create a struggle inside and a battleground outside, understand that. Do you believe anyone 100%? Be truthful. No, yes. We don't believe 100% anyone. Why? Mind is not satisfied. Mind is still unhappy. That creates the struggle. I'm living with the one whom I don't have faith. Maybe a friend or a honey or etc. Or in a profession, my employees or my people or my clients. Battle continues in the world. I don't even believe the money cannot buy my health. Money cannot buy my happiness. So when I say I'll get you there to the permanent happiness, you don't believe it. That's another problem. So the battle continues outside with our situations, with our conditions, with the people outside, with the events that is happening every day in my life. Every day. I tell you, every day. It has become a new normal to me in my life. That is why it becomes difficult for me to smile all the time. Even if I say keep smiling, after some time that smile is lost. Why it is lost? Because the battle, struggle continues inside. What should I do? How should I do? Where should I do? And that keeps the mind distracted, wandering too far from my real nature. You create a battleground and a struggle. We continue to struggle with our own mind. Think of it. Why we create a struggle? Answer is the false I. I trust you all in every session. I know that in every session you will reach there. You don't reach there, it's your problem. It's not my problem. So the struggle and the battle continues because this false I converts in my daily activities as a pleasure seeker, as a possession seeker, as a pill seeker. That is an egoistic personality. What is a pill seeker? I have a headache. Let me grab a cup of coffee. I said something nasty to my honey. The next moment, pill seeker, I'm sorry. Sorry has become so cheap. Pill seeker. And the pleasure seeker. Why don't you understand, honey? I hate you when you do this. So you do what I say. That will give me a pleasure. Don't do what I say not to do it. So we have a pleasure seeker, millions of pleasure seeker. We can get into, we become upset emotionally. We are dependent emotionally on the outer situation, people, relations, and things. That makes me a pleasure seeker. This text is the summary of more than 365 texts. How to apply that Eastern wisdom in daily life. And third is the possession seeker. That I have already told you, 50 pairs of clothes. More and more, and more and more. I will be happy if I get more and more. I will not spare a single penny for you, but I want permanent peace and happiness from you. See, pleasure seeker is combined, pill seeker is there, possession seeker is there. Because of this battle and the struggle created by the false ego, we live in and with good and bad experiences. That is what our life is. Tell me if their life is different from this. And I have already given you the reason. The moment you wake up in the morning until you sleep, do you live into the same state of calmness and the smile and the joy? You want to know the answer? 3P. Thrill seeker, pleasure seeker, possession seeker. I want to grab everything because the false ego does that. You don't do that. I'm sorry to say. You never do that. I know. You are wonderful. But in front of you, the false ego wants to grab everything. That is what the egoistic personality is. It is not that you say that I don't agree with you. These are smaller things. Deeper inside me, the false I struggles inside and wants to manifest outside. It meets the struggle. And that is the cause. It creates a battleground in the struggle in our day to day life. No, this is not. No, I'm a wise person. Really? You go to the mall and you bought something that costed $120, and then you meet with a friend and then you say, I got in discount. Oh, you got in discount? No, but that costed only $90. And then check your mind. I can give you 1 million examples. Oh, where I can get it? I will return it. So when you go there and they say no, non-refundable. Non-refundable. We don't want to clear our garbage from the mind. We keep thinking, and it happens with the second thing, third thing, fourth, and continues. I can give you 1 million examples. You make a statement, and I will extract that reason. We make bad and good experiences. We make bad and good experiences out of the world, people, relations, situation, conditions. And that is not at all responsible for my miseries and suffering, but I feel it, I blame it. So there is a battle and the struggle continues in my day to day life. It will never come to an end until this egoistic personalities with the 3P must go. If it goes away, you are a seeker. Am I serious? No. I'm just making my point. Master says this is what the delusion is. If you understand the delusion part, that creates the battle inside. No, that creates a struggle inside and a battle outside. The moment you recognize by thinking, by contemplating, by reflecting, then the next question will come: what is my true identity? If I'm not this false I, if I'm not the pleasure seeker, if I'm not the thrill seeker and the possession seeker, then what is my true identity? What is the world, true nature of the world? What is the purpose of my life? When you think of this, contemplate and reflect on this, you become a seeker. The journey becomes easy, fast. Why you say that? That's why I've been listening to you weeks after weeks after weeks. You don't tell me the secret. That secret cannot be revealed to those people who have this false I. Simple, it cannot be revealed to you, not by anyone. Am I very tough on today? No. If you feel that I'm tough, then again that the same false I is working. That is how I learned from my master for hours and hours together, listening to him. How do you say that? I'm an eager student. I have come to you. It took me 5 or 6 years. Buddha took 7 years. He went to different masters and monks, and then he was suffering from this false identity until he got rid of this false identity that pleasure, pill seeker, possession seeker is gone. The existence helps you. Who is this beer guy is going to help you to find the real self? No way. How the existence helped Buddha? He was undergoing a training of these practices under a Hatha Yoga master, and who asked him to sleep on the floor, eat once a day, do practice 5 hours a day, and he got more frustrated. 6 years. We are just doing 1 hour once a week. Somebody told me, that, we have been doing weeks after weeks. So I told him the same story, that he dedicated completely for 6 years. And one day he was sitting under a tree. Do you remember the story I told you? Alar Kalam, the master, was passing through. He looked into the eyes of this young. He said, "You are it." And he went to his master. He said, he's worthless, he doesn't listen to you. Why don't you give your student to me? Alar Kalam took Buddha. He said, sit under a tree, close your eyes. He found it. False I was gone. It is because the false I was gone, he could realize it. False I wants to be happy with the 3P. 3P belongs to the world. The world is a matter. Matter is inert. Anything that is inert cannot know itself, cannot know others. Hence, there is no peace and happiness in the world outside. Once our mind is mature, we have a mental and emotional maturity deeper in. Don't say I'm not mature, I'm very mature. Oh, that is why you are suffering. Very good. So think of it. Mental maturity here is that I know I'm a conscious being. The world outside I am seeking is purely matter inert. That inert matter does not contain that happiness. When I reflect on this, when I understand it, what happens? The discernment awakens in you. Now your intellect discerns and the mind realizes. Mind says, Without thinking, reflecting what I am seeking, I will stop seeking anything. You will not be busy from that moment, I guarantee. Not busy means no struggle inside the mind. Mind is not wandering. Mind wanders because we have millions of seeking. So that intellect awakens to the discernment realized by the mind starts changing. So once we start changing, what you will see. So here the master says, first time you realize that there is another possibility. And the question is, okay, everything is okay, I'm born as a human being, I have the higher faculty. That is what we say, higher faculty than all the animal and living species. Do you agree? Yes, we have a higher faculty of the intellect. The mind of all the animals are imprisoned by the nature, controlled and regulated by the nature. I gave you that example. Do you remember the example of a tiger? Tiger wants to kill you through the paws and the jaws. They have only two possibilities. They are intelligent, no doubt, but their intellect is under the control of the nature. But my intellect is free. I have 100 options to fight the tiger. I can kill it with a sword and with a stick or with a poison or with, you see, are you clear? So once we understand that beyond the false side, there is another opportunity, there is another possibility. So our master says there are only, this entire world is offered to us with two possibilities: to live with the false I, continue to suffer, have short term pleasure. Huh? You marry, get upset, divorce, remarry. So even in marriage, there is a suffering, even in divorce, there is a suffering. And it continues. You have a kid, you are suffer. You don't have a kid, suffering has no end to it. That is one possibility because we are living with the false I. We are regulating our life with the false I. There is another possibility. The Sanskrit word is apvarga. The master says, replace this false I with the real self. What will happen then? Struggle will continue? No. The moment you replace the false I with the real I, that realize of the nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom, anything, any action you think, speak, and act with reference to the real self at the center, not the false I, then what happens? Reference point is real self. Peace is already inside. Honey says, hell with you. You say, thank you. I'll talk to you later. You don't get upset. Why? Because the false I is not expecting pleasure or the peace from the world outside. Do you see that? In every situation, in any situation, I failed in the business, let me redo it. You don't get upset. It is the false side that gets upset. It is the false side that reacts. It is the false side that blames. It is the false side that cries, that has an emotional dependence. Real self is independent. We have only two possibilities in our, two options to live in the world and deal with the world outside. That is the journey of the Eastern West. Don't you have an option to respond to every situation in peace? Don't you have an option to respond in peace even if the situation outside is different than you expect? I have an option. We all have an option, but we become tiger, and ultimately we find there is only two options. That is the reason we live in the struggle all the time inside us. I tell you, friends, think of it. So when you think of the why the coaching or guiding or whatever you say, mentoring, there are different words in the Eastern wisdom, helps us to go just beyond the world of suffering. Situation outside do not change, but I have changed. My perception has changed. Why are you so sad, honey? Or in the morning, you insulted me, and I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. You withdraw yourself in silence and peace, then fighting. Whatever I said you right. Then you are ready to fight again. We don't have that sense of humility. False eye does not know any humility. And if the false eye knows the humility, it is hypocrisy. Do you see that? I expect something from you that you don't give. That is why I am upset. That is the reason I have a big face. No, I don't have it, but I'm saying that by example. And then I lie down on the bed. My dream comes true. I fight in the dream. I wake up in the morning totally tired. Struggle and the battle continues in my life. How long we want to continue this battle and the struggle? That you have to think. When we have an option. Now, don't be serious. We are just talking, passing on this wisdom. So let us close your eyes and start our journey